Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of Wisdom Moments on K24 with me, C.J Atemo. I hope that these have been very helpful to you. Thank you for the feedback. For those of you who are asking questions and those of you who are asking for the clips, follow me on my social media platforms at C.J Atemo everywhere. That is YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. And if you have certain topics that you'd want us to address, if you have certain questions that you'd want me to address, then just send them right there and I'll gladly do so. You could also use the email cjatsol@gmail.com. cjatsol@gmail.com. And your questions will most probably get answered right here. Coming to you again from 67 Airport Hotel. As you can see in my background, there's a swimming pool right over here, which is one of the facilities that this space offers. And we're so glad to be back right here by the poolside at the 67 Airport Hotel. They've got excellent cuisine, accommodation. There are airport transfers. So if you're thinking of just coming in and having some time off, you can come here. It's a quiet and serene place along Mombasa Road in the areas of Syokimau, 6 kilometers from the airport, said to be 7 minutes drive on any other day. And you'd enjoy the rooms, you'd enjoy the conference facilities, the cuisine, the poolside. Even for those of you who just want to have time with your family, you would have that as well. They've got their bars as well. And there's a whole lot here for the family, for the business, and even for you as an individual. So check that out. Well, we've been talking about quite a number of things, and by yesterday we're still talking about living a balanced life, which is something that most people struggle with, And when we talk about balance, it means that all things need to be in their place in the right measure. Everything needs to be in their place in the right measure. So that means that your work, your relationships, your management of self and time, your money, your activities all need to find the right measure. That's all balance is about. It is difficult to put everything on the same level. You can't find that kind of equilibrium because there are certain things that require more input than others. There are certain things that are more significant than others. Other things are more fundamental than others. So it's just knowing what are the important things and putting them in that bracket. What are those urgent things? What are those emergencies? What are things that can wait? All of that plays in how you manage your time and how you also manage something that I want to talk about today, which is manage the people around your life. People are such an integral part of your life that no matter what you think about people, you cannot do without people. You cannot do away with people. Sometimes we have all these mantras like people will always be people, and I don't want anything to do with people. But hear me, ladies and gentlemen. There is no day you will not be able to do with people, because those people are representative of your families, your friends, your fraternity. It's just that you relate with different people in different spaces in different ways. To some people, you're family. To others, you're a friend. To others, you're a neighbor. To some people, you're a customer. To others, you may be a boss or an employee. All those relationships are varied, and the dynamics vary based on how you're relating with them. So there's no person that is one thing to everybody, and then nobody who will ever be one thing to you. Even those of you who are married, your spouse will never be everything to you. There are certain strengths that they carry, personalities that they have. And so in order for you to live with them well, you have to understand what role do they play in your life, what value do they bring, how are you supposed to handle that, what are the weaknesses or challenges that you would have in that relationship, and you've got to count the cost of whether you want to have that relationship or not. In managing people, in order to create a balance, there's something that is very significant for us to do. And this is to learn how to manage expectations both on people and from people. You've got to learn how to manage expectations. Most of us do not know how to handle the expectations of the people. That's why we don't know when to say yes and how to say no. We sometimes will just say yes to everything. It causes us to disappoint people a lot of times and then put a strain on relationships that we have or relationships that we value because we did not know how to use yes and no. As somebody has said before, No is a complete sentence. Yes, it is. And yes is a complete sentence as well. Until you learn how to manage the expectations people have on you and the expectations that you have on people, you will always struggle. And part of that is that, as I said, you cannot be all things to everybody and nobody can be everything to you. You also have got to understand that people get tired, people get drained, people need space by themselves. I was having a conversation with somebody on my way to this shoot, and I said that even in marriages, people lose their identity completely in there because it will be thought to be something that is unusual for somebody to need some space just by themselves. If they say that they wanted to go on a break for 2 to 3 days just by themselves, it will be seen as if the marriage is not working. Yet sometimes that's not true. It's just that this particular person probably has reached that point where if they don't go on a break, they will totally break down. You've got to know what you can do. You've got to know what you can be and to whom. You've got to know to whom you can try to be all things. And even with that, you've got to know when you are being depleted. That is that you're going to create certain boundaries. But those boundaries are very difficult to create until you define the relationships that you are in. Are they business relationships? Are they social relationships? Because until the relationship is defined, the boundary cannot be. Those relationships are what determine what the boundaries will be. If I know that my relationship with you is business, then I can easily tell you, you cannot call me after 5. Why? Because it's a business relationship and I'm not doing business after 5 or 6 or 7. It becomes so easy then to place the boundaries there because this is very defined. If I know that we only have a social relationship with you, then I can easily tell you, don't call me during the day because I don't pick phone calls during the day or I don't have time during the day. So I really don't have to explain too much about how my day goes, since I know that every phone call that you make or my time that you will require is for social spaces. So I can easily then compartmentalize our times and our spending of time together, calls or texting, to times when I don't want to do business. So I can say, let's meet after work, because I have defined that to be a social relationship. When I know that it is family, family cannot totally be compartmentalized. Family comes into business, family comes into social. So then I will prioritize. I might be in a meeting, but if I see, for example, my spouse calling me and it is not their norm or their usual to call, they are not insecure or controlling, and I see their call, then I may pay attention to it, knowing that this is family and family is important. Maybe there's something that needs to be done. So then I get to know how to manage the people around me, that if it is family, then family has certain access that other people don't have. If it is business, then it ends at this particular place. If it is social, then it ends at that place. If just ordinary casual friends as well, you can tell this is how far we go. If you need my time, this is how far we can go. Some people, it's just a matter of we can talk on phone or we can actually chat on the inbox on Facebook. You see, you've got to control even whom you give your number. You've got to create that so that there are people who, when they have your phone number, you will not rest. That phone will ring off the hook. So manage the expectation you have on people and manage the expectation people have on you. You cannot be everything. You cannot be everywhere. You cannot know everything, and you cannot have everything. You will not always be strong. You will not always be excited. You will not always be upbeat. You will not always be on peak performance. You've got to manage that. You've got to let people know that sometimes you get tired, sometimes you get drained, sometimes you just need space, sometimes you just can't get the work done. That sometimes you also need somebody else to help you, and sometimes you just need time alone. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you. This has been Wisdom Moments on K24 with me, C.J Atemo.